If I go here, I don't want to turn Wi-Fi off, but if I turn Wi-Fi off, nothing would show up here. If I come down here, and this would say turn Wi-Fi on, I would click on it, and then I might see things here, but you would also need your Wi-Fi password. So,
I don't have a password. I don't think.
well, you'll tell, because what will happen is if you go up here, and there's little locks, you have a password. Like here at RMA, there's no password. But if it has a lock on it, your Wi-Fi, if you have Wi-Fi there and it has a lock on it, you can do it. Is there anybody that does tech around in Rancho Murieta?
Yes.
So that's something simple, or I can come do it. I'm very reasonable in setting that stuff up. If you call me to come, tell me to bring a wireless router with me in case you don't have one. And as far as products go, I don't mark up any of the hardware. I sell it to you for exactly what I pay for that. I make my money on the labor. And it's pretty easy to set up. But you would also, wireless is much faster, but you also would use less data on your phone, so therefore your bill might be lower on your phone.
Is that why when my daughter sends me a face, what do you call it? Facebook, I can't get it on my phone, but I get it on my computer?
Yep.
It rings on my phone.
Yeah, but the cellular connection, and you would be using a tremendous amount of data, so it's good that it doesn't. The cell companies didn't used to allow it, now they do, but it uses a lot of data. So, who's your carrier on your phone, AT&T?
Horizon.
Verizon? Okay. And you probably have a limited amount of data, so you wouldn't, it's good you haven't been FaceTiming or you'd go over, and believe me, if you go over on your data on Verizon,
Expensive, yeah.
again, they'll shoot you with the gun, but you can argue it down to get stabbed with the knife if you want to. So.
Okay, you were talking about a SIM card if you're traveling. Where does that connect on my...
Do you have one that has the plastic band like hers?
Yeah.
So look at hers on the, hold it up towards me, look on the right-hand side, down part way. Oh, no, turn it up. No, turn it like you just had it. Look on hers, because hers is an indication. Face the back of the iPad towards me. Face the back of the iPad towards me. Move your right hand up higher.
My right hand?
Right, down a little. It's right there. It should be right by your left hand. I mean, right by your right hand.
It is.
Yours is not a cellular one. See, there's no plastic here. Look at hers. Hers is plastic. And then the SIM card holder is right here.
I see.
Do you want a SIM card holder?
So you're only if you have cellular. Your SIM card holder is this one.
Sorry, you don't need a SIM card?
No, it's only if you want to use not on that. Right, for one phone. If you're traveling, you go to a Wi-Fi hotspot, but not be able to use the cellular network. So only when you're within Wi-Fi. Okay, if you have a plastic strip that's either black or white, you have the ability to also use cellular. And that's something, every iPad costs $130 more if you get the cellular version. But you don't have to have a contract like on your phone, and you buy the cellular version, but you still don't have to buy the service. It only provides the option of at some point, if you want to put a SIM card in here, to have it where you don't have Wi-Fi. Otherwise, it's only where you have Wi-Fi. All of our phones have SIM cards in it because we can use the cellular network wherever we are. Now, we can take our phone and turn on what's called Wi-Fi hotspot, and it gets the connection over there, and it becomes a Wi-Fi hotspot for your iPad if you want. So it's not anything you have to do. But remember, that's going to use more of your data, so you may have to buy bigger buckets of data. Okay? It's a little confusing, but if you have an iPhone, and as long as nobody here was on the AT&T Unlimited, you should have the ability to do hotspotting. Okay? And we can cover that in a future class because it gets a little bit technical. Anyway, we've got all our, and the important thing was to make sure we had backups before we did any of the upgrades. Now, I want to kind of, because that was the most important thing, there'll be tutorials online, and when they do the presentation, you'll see a lot of different things. But currently, let's talk about any questions or problems that people might have with their iPad or their iPhone. I'm sorry, I don't know Samsung or Android phones very well at all. I stay away. I can only do a few things. Go ahead.
How can I get my iPhone to notify me when I have a voice message?
Well, it does. If you go to your phone, down at the bottom of your phone, well, actually, here, I'll pull it up on my screen. Let me get my phone on the screen here. It'll be the easiest so everybody can see. Okay, so there's the phone. So if I go to phone, I have voicemail in the lower right corner. And I have 42. I've listened to some of these voicemail messages that kind of come back in, but that shows how many voicemails I have. Okay, you've maybe never tap your voicemail button. I'll bet it's going to say you need to set up voicemail. Oh, you called voicemail, so that's not. It's calling voicemail. Oh, because you're on a different carrier, they may not support visual voicemail. You may have to do old-timey way of calling and listening to your messages. I would check with them or send me an email and send them and remind me you're on straight talk. Because that's the difference. But that brings up how the voicemail really works. The voicemail, this is one thing. So, we showed you the original iPhone that was introduced in January 9th, 2007. And before that, we all had to do like we do with our home voicemail. I got to go through if I get 12 messages, I got to go through each one in order, skip, delete, replay, skip, delete, replay, skip, delete, replay. For somebody that gets as many as I do, oh, what a pain in the butt. Well, with voicemail on the iPhone, I'm able to go through to whatever message I want and play that, and the beauty is it's actually stored on my phone, so I can scroll back and forth just like I would if I was listening to music. So it's really music stored on your phone when they do these voicemails. And that was something that Apple pioneered, and it was really hard to convince AT&T, who was the exclusive carrier in the beginning, to do that. And everybody else does it now, and it's really a lot easier. Hers, because she's on Straight Talk, may not support that. We'll have to check, and it might be a setting you need to do. Okay? So I can't be specific on your voicemail until we check. So, and don't worry about Googling that. Send me an email and I'll respond, because that's going to be a little bit of a nuance to that. Next question. Your voicemail? How do you find voicemail? Okay, so I go to the main thing. Well, first of all, let's talk about the iPhone. I always say that, people say, well, that's a neat phone. No, this is a computer that happens to make phone calls. And it's a great computer, it's a great iPod, it's a great camera, and it makes phone calls. So when we go to phone, all we do is we go to the phone icon. And in the phone icon, you have favorites, which you can set, recent calls, contacts, keypad, and voicemail. How many non-iPhone people do we have here? Okay, so we're covering a decent amount. But basically, it's just at the bottom, you can tap on your voicemail and listen to them. And then here's another key. When you get over to your voicemail, though, you need to scroll to the bottom. If you deleted a message, you need to go to your deleted messages, because it says, well, you deleted it, but are you sure you want to delete it? Now we go to deleted messages, and I have to say clear them again, because Apple doesn't want you to inadvertently delete a message, because then everybody will blame Apple, right? It's 3 steps to delete. All right. Oh, and like I have a long list on this. Everywhere on your iPad and your iPhone, if you're at the bottom of a web page or things, you get way, way down. If you ever want to go to the top, You just put your finger up in the white area right there, and it will scroll to the top. In the white area at the top, I'll show you on my iPad here. Let's go to Safari. Let's go to a website that might have a long, let's see. Okay, so this is a website here. Once it loads, so you scroll down, there's a lot of stuff all the way down. If I want to, instead of scrolling back up, if I tap right up here in the white area at the top, right up by the clock, it'll scroll me right to the top. In other words, how to jump back to top. Okay? All right. Good question on that. Next questions?
If you, on messages.
On voicemail messages or on messages, the texting app?
Messages, texting.
Got it? Okay. Just wanted to be sure.
If you delete one, is there any way to find it again?
No.
Once you edit it, no, it's gone forever.
Yeah. Yep. I'm just trying to think. It could be, if it's critical, you could retrieve it. Your whole iPhone backup would be the only way. An example of that you can get out of there, I had a client who, her father passed away, and she had on her iPhone a couple months before that, him playing the piano for her mother. And her iPhone got wiped out. And it's one of the best jobs I ever did, was I was able to go back into her iPhone backups and restore her phone from last October that had all of that stuff on it. So it was really, really good. So hang on. It's but it's going to restore your phone back to whatever it was on that date. That's kind of an issue. Yeah. Now you can, if you want to keep a text message, I'm going to show you how to take a picture of your screen. So if I have a text message here or anything, if I'm on a web page on your iPad or your iPhone, so we all know we have a home button, right? That's the big round button at the bottom. Don't press it. Just know that it's there. On the iPad, it might be on the side, but it's the only physical button on the face of the screen. That, and then there's the sleep wake button in the upper right. If you press those at the same time, watch my screen, it flashes, and now it's stored in my camera roll just like I've taken a picture of my own phone. That's the only way to really make sure you've done that and all restore it.
You can hear it click.
If your sound is on, you'll hear it click. At the same time. You have to have it on. Yeah, but that'll take a picture of the screen. An example of that was I was down in San Diego, and my cell phone carrier showed up not AT&T but Telcel, which is Mexican, and I'm right on Coronado. And I'm like, okay, I want to make sure I don't get billed for this. So I brought up my GPS map. I went to my map. And I said, do my current location to show up on the map. And then I took a screenshot of that because the Telcel showed up in the top, but it showed I was in Coronado. So if AT&T ever said, well, you were using the Mexican cell thing, I'm going, no, it was your problem with your coverage. And I pressed it here. Nothing ever showed up. I didn't get any international bills. Oh, the other thing I do is if you are very near the border, be careful. Now, because if you're accidentally connecting to Mexican, they'll start charging you international data. So, and there's some places you can be across the border and get the U.S. carrier. So you just have to be a little careful. All right. Next question. Go ahead.
I have a PC at home. I'd like some way of getting pictures off of this into my PC.
Very easy. Okay, I don't know, you've only got a small piece of paper there to write this down. Okay. You know you have a charging cable that came with this hooked to a little
And it has a
USB on one end.
yes.
Okay.
Plug it in, no problem.
So, this is a phone, it's a computer, and also what is it?
A camera.
In fact, do you know what the best camera in the world is?
Yes.
The one you have with you. So if I'm out shooting, in fact, there's a great place. I go shoot sunrises and sunsets right out by the landfill. But in a foggy morning, you know that road that cuts across to the landfill that's flooded sometimes, that one road with the tree canopy and tunnel? In fog, makes the best photos ever. I'll probably pull those up for you. But that's when I have my big Canon, you know, my $2,000 camera. That's the best camera in the world right there. But when I don't have that, this is the best camera in the world. And these are fantastic cameras, and the new iPhones will even have better. That being said, don't think of this as a phone right now. Think of it as a digital camera. Who here has digital cameras, not counting phones? Okay? You hook them up to your computer, or you take the card out and put it in a card reader. Think of it exactly the same way. I plug the cable in here, I plug it into the PC or the Mac, and it says, oh, I see you have photos. Would you like to bring those photos into your photo album? And you say yes, it'll bring them in, and then usually at the end, specifically on a Mac, but I think on a PC, it'll say, well, do you want to leave them on your phone or delete them from your phone? No.
Okay.
Good question, though. I mean, that's important, and it's good. On the Mac, if you have PhotoStream turned on, it'll do it automatically without a cable. Go ahead.
My question is, why, when you have like a Canon camera and you put the card into your computer, in order to take the card out, you have to go trash?
Are you on a Mac? You know, that's counterintuitive, because it's like, or you want to eject something, but you know what, because you do it in iPhoto, right?
Yeah.
Okay, if you're in iPhoto, on the left-hand side, your camera card or your iPhone will show up there, and right next to it is a little triangle with a line under it, and if you click eject there, it will eject it, without having to put it in the trash.
Well, I gotta tell you,
No, I know.
I got holy hell from my computer telling me, don't do this.
No, what it was is, no, you just unplugged it. You unplugged it. Now here's how Apple is looking out for you as a user. On a PC, you know what? I have to apologize. This is a special call I have to take. I'm sorry. Hey, I'm doing a class. All right. Well, I am. It's going to be a little later. I'll be able to do it, but I'm going to call you as class. Okay. Where is it?
Oh, I guess so, yeah.
No problem. Thank you. Bye-bye. Sorry, I do certain. I don't know if you've ever seen DMV has these kiosks where you can do your car registration, and I'm obligated to a 4-hour response time, so I had to find out where they need it and stuff like this. It's a technical thing. Anyways, I apologize for that. I hate interrupting. But on a PC, if you unplug it, it just gives you a beep. On the Mac, it used to put up a big old stop sign that said, "You've unplugged something without ejecting it. The world is going to end and your computer's going to blow up."
Don't you ever do that again?
Exactly, and you feel like your hand got slapped. Well, in the new operating system, it puts up a little window and says, okay, but to be honest, it's only telling you that if for some reason, whether it was an external hard drive or this, if it was still transferring data when you disconnected it, all your data might not have got transferred. It's not going to blow up, but they're giving you a warning that might be everything didn't get transferred, but I know that red stop sign comes out. On the new operating systems, it's not as bad. But if it's your camera card, you can, as long as it's all imported, yes, you can disconnect it without going through the eject. But yeah, I get the call, hey, is it going to blow up? No, it's fine. Well, it says no, you may have lost data that wasn't transferred. So take a deep breath and you're okay. Back here was another question first, then you. Okay, Hank, we need to kind of, got a lot of crosstalk. It's really hard for me to hear.
Gotcha. I've got too many pictures on my.
How can you have too many?
Well, it's.
You meant to take them.
493 out of 493.
Oh, come on. I know somebody can beat that by a lot. So, what you have to do is.
It's blowing up things.
Yeah. So, and I think this is going to get cured in the new operating system. But you can hook it in. You have a Mac or a PC? Okay. When you hook it in, when you hook it, yeah, well then don't. It's better. They're safer that way. When you plug it into your Mac and you upload the photos, it's going to say, "Do you want to delete these photos that you just imported?" Say yes. And then you plug it back in again, and it says, do you want me to take all the photos off of this? And you say yes, then it'll erase it. Or you have to go in photo by photo and delete them. But what I would recommend is I really think that's going to get fixed in the new operating system. So hold off a little bit. But our camera rolls do get pretty full. So, but again, Apple's erring on the side of let's make sure. And again, people always wonder, well, if my photos went up in the cloud and all this, are they ever going to be gone for? No, a copy goes up there. The only way the photos will ever come off of either your iPad or your iPhone is if you physically delete the photo.
If I go and delete them off the camera,
They're gone.
it's off the.
No, they're still in the cloud. So what happens is
Will it stay on the mini?
they're not on the mini. They're in the photo stream. All right, let's talk about this a little. This is a great question. So let me take a picture of the class. Oh, let's get my iPhone up here. The phone interrupted it. All right. I'm going to take a picture of the class, okay? So, boom. So, that exists on my iPhone right now, right? I'm going to unlock my phone, and I'm going to my photos right here, and I'm going to see it in my camera roll. It's called camera roll. Think back to film. This is your camera roll. And remarkably enough, unblurry, and I really have to figure it out, there's our photo, right? So, if I also go down here to albums, if I click albums, and go to my photo stream, in a minute, oh, remember I did the screenshot before on my phone? We all showed how to do the home button. There was my screenshot I took. It's already on my photo stream. It's on my camera roll, and it's on my photo stream. And the photo I just took will get on my photo stream soon. So let's go to my iPad, and I go to Photos, and I go to Photo Stream. My iPad has that screenshot I took. Unfortunately, it doesn't have the new one I just took yet because the internet's being a little slow. But remember, that was that. I took a screenshot with my iPhone that saved it to my camera roll, and in a minute, the photo we just took is going to show up here. But it does not live on my iPad. It only lives in the photo stream. Let's talk about what the photo stream is.
So the photo.
Look at what just showed up on my photo stream on both my devices.
So the photo stream is the one with the colorful.
No, that's the Photos app. And that's going to change. That'll get much more robust after the first of the year. That's your Photos app, which has my camera roll and my photo stream. Now, what the photo stream is, I take. Okay, if I go on your do you have a thing that says albums at the bottom? Click on albums. And in albums, you have a choice of camera roll and photo stream. You might not have photo stream on. You're in mail. No, you gotta go to the app. Okay. So here's camera roll and here's photo stream. Here's camera roll and photo stream. Okay. The camera roll is the photos taken with that device. It's the camera roll. Think of the old roll of film or the digital card in the camera. Okay, pretty important concept coming up, so I think everybody needs to get this. Whenever I take a photo, if I have photo stream turned on, it sends it up to my photo stream in the cloud. We all get free storage space, 5 gigabytes. The photo stream doesn't count against it. The photo stream is a temporary holding place where all my photos go if I have it turned on. And in my case, you'll see I have 1,000 photos in my photo stream. It's up to 1,000 photos, up to 30 days. At 1,000, when I upload a new photo, the oldest one drops off the photo stream. It's a temporary holding area. Okay? So the photos are there. They still exist on whatever device you took it on. And when I go to my iPad, look on the screen for my iPad, This photo of us was not taken on my iPad, it was taken on my iPhone, right? So I'm viewing the photo stream. If I want that photo to live on my iPad after it expires on the photo stream, I have to press and hold on it. Actually, I'm sorry, I have to press it, and then down in the, you can't see it on the screen, there's a little share button. Everybody have a photo stream? Tap on a photo on your photo stream.
It says copy.
Oh no, that's if you hold it. But look in the lower on your iPhone. Hit the select button, and then select one of the items. And then you'll notice a little box with the arrow pointed in the bottom, right? And you can't see it on the screen because it's trying to view your photo here. Actually, what we have to do is let's do this. I'm going to do my iPad. So. It's not going to do that. So, yes. So what it's saying is save to camera roll. So in other words, it lives on the photo stream. It's not on your iPad or your device. But if you say save to camera roll, you can also put it on that device's camera roll, as if you've taken it from that. Or obviously you can mail it, etc. So you're taking it off of that temporary holding area and saying, also put a copy of it on your device. And if you're on a Macintosh and you have photo stream turned on, let's go to my iPhoto. So I'm going to fire up iPhoto on my Mac. And what happens here is I don't have to tell it to download to my Mac. If it's on my photo stream, it will automatically download to my Mac. So once that comes up. So again, whatever device you take it on, your iPad or your iPhone, it goes to the photo stream. It's already on the device you took it. If I want it to be on my iPhone or my iPad that I didn't take it with, I have to select it and say copy to my camera roll. In other words, put it on this device. And if we look up here on my photo stream on my Mac, look at this. I have not synced my iPhone to this. It's right here. That's the picture I took with my iPhone. And it now does live. It's automatically downloaded to my Mac. So in other words, it's archived on my Mac.
Is there a way to stop it from doing that?
Yes, but you can delete it once it's there. Are you concerned with it taking up too much room?
Yes.
On your Mac or on your iPad?
On my iPad.
No, because it doesn't live on your iPad. Are you talking about if you take it with your iPhone, you don't want it on your iPad?
Yeah.
Okay, it doesn't live on your iPad unless you tell it to add it to the camera roll. Otherwise, it's in the photo stream and it never really lives there. The photo stream is a temporary holding area. So that's why Apple did it, because they know you don't want to have, when you go to Costco and take a picture of a price tag, they know you don't need that on your iPad. But if you do want it on your iPad, you go in and hit that arrow and say, save this to my camera roll on my iPad. So that's why it doesn't automatically do it to the iPad, but it automatically does it to your Mac, because your Mac has a lot of storage. And this becomes your archive. You have other choices. Don't worry about the AirDrop. Don't worry about the AirDrop. That's a whole different thing. But that would be how you could send that person that photo.
Okay, you could use the mail.
You could mail it. Yeah, you can mail it to someone.
Send it to the cloud, so if you want to do that.
No, it's already on the cloud. We don't want to send it to the cloud here. That's a whole different thing. It could be a whole long class. All we're doing is saying that's how PhotoStream works. Don't worry about the other options. But only if you took it on that device, you don't need to save it to camera roll because it's already on that camera roll. But if you filled up on your iPad, you'd say save to your iPad camera roll. And again, it doesn't count against your 5 gigabytes of storage. Okay, so excellent question about PhotoStream and photos. So, okay, next. Yeah, you could send them that photo. But they would have to accept it. So see, they have, because you guys are in the same area, they're probably in your address book is why they show up. Here then you. Go ahead.
If you're on your iPad doing email, can you change the fonts and color of this?
No. you may be able to in iOS 8. And the other thing is, iOS 8 is going to have a really neat thing. You can have different keyboards. In other words, different structures of keyboards. You'll have the option of a keyboard that has numbers across the top instead of flipping back and forth. You'll have the option of a new keyboard called Swipe, where instead of typing each letter, you simply put your finger on the screen and just hover, you just move around holding the screen to what one, and it types in it knows what words you are. It will also predict what you're going to type. If you're responding to an email that has the word RanchoMurieta in it, as you start typing Rancho, it'll say, oh, do you mean RanchoMurieta? And you would tap that without typing the whole thing. It's predictive on what you've typed. It learns you better and better, but it's also predictive on whatever you're replying to. And it's very, very good. And that'll be in iOS 8.
One other quick question. On my iPad, I'm downloading ebooks, but I haven't gone to the Sacramento Library yet to download. It's a very difficult process.
No, you need a reader. There's a 3M one. Go to Sacramento's the website, and they'll show you what to do. Yeah, you need an app, a free app that's a 3M reader, and there's another one called Overdrive, and there's another one they have there that's very. See whatever they say it is. The 3M seems to have replaced Overdrive, and
3M is the easiest to deal with.
but it doesn't cover all of them. That's the problem.
All books are not available in one way, so you just get it however they come.
And I'll tell you, the Sacramento Library is fantastic. Take your iPad in, they'll sit with you and work with you and set it all up. They came and spoke at the Mac Nexus group. We had 2 of the people from the library come and speak with us, and it was quite good. But remember, just like checking out a regular book, you may have to get in the line to get that book, and so when somebody returns the book when they're done with it, you'll be able to get it, and you're in the queue for that. So, because just like buying books, they have to buy the digital copy of it. It's not like it's unlimited. And there are free books. There's open source books around and things like that too. So that's great. It sounds like she knows it pretty well, so she'll be a good contact on her iPad, not her. But they actually do. They have it for the Android stuff too. They're quite good. You had a question here.
Yeah, so share is also part of the stream.
Shared is if you share something on the iCloud, and I don't want to get in the weeds on that, but basically you had a bunch of photos and you hit share, it'll send those, because you can't email like 20 photos because it's too much. If you say share to the iCloud, then it produces a little link, and that link gets emailed to somebody and they just go view those photos on the internet.
Not actually on your phone.
Yeah, if you set up the share, but if you get somebody, because you have to share, you're the sharer, and they'll receive a link to download. But that's going to change too with all the new OS. It's going to be a little bit easier, a little more forthright. To be honest, after the first of the year, we'll have a new Photos app on all of our iOS devices, and you'll be able to manipulate photos, or if you take a lot of photos like I do, I have the problem because if I'm traveling, I can't work on my photos on my iPad and have that work show up here. It's just the raw photo will come over here. But I have like 2 Macs, so I want it to go amongst all of them. After the first of the year, it'll be able to work on I'll be able to upload them to my iPad, make manipulations, do names, crop them, do whatever that I want, and it will coincidentally go over to my Mac also, and it'll be done there, and I can work on any of them. Very similar to right now, how if you update contacts on one device, it updates them on all your devices. That's how the new Photos app is going to be. It's not quite ready for prime time yet, but we expect to see some of it tomorrow, but it's scheduled for after the first of the year. We had a question here?
Yes, I don't know how to sync my deletions on between my iMac and
Because you can't. It depends on your mail service. Who's your email with? I'm sorry. All right. Mail's important. We all use it a lot. Are you on Yahoo because of AT&T, or are you on Yahoo as a standalone? Who's your internet provider? It's here. Is that through Comcast then?
Now it's going to take
Okay. Well, first of all, don't use any email address they give you. And if you're anybody here on AT&T that uses a AT&T Yahoo email address, anybody on Comcast, just get Gmail. Get a Gmail account. And here's the deal. Yahoo is probably the worst of the email services. They keep trying. Marissa Mayer, who's a wonderful CEO, she's only been there a little over a year. She came from Google. She's doing some great things, but there's still some infrastructure issues with Yahoo. I'm not saying you have to abandon it or stop using it, but Gmail does it right. And what her concern was is we all have multiple devices. If I read something, especially as many as I get, or I reply to something, or I forward something, I want it to show. I pick it up on my iPad and I go, well, did I read this on my iPhone? Oh, I thought I did, and it looks like it's unread. Well, if you use an email service protocol that allows it, it'll show it syncs on all your devices and says, oh yeah, I respond to this, and in fact, I can go into my sent folder on my Mac. If I send it from my Mac, I can go into the sent folder on my iPad and see that I sent the message. So Gmail works fairly well for that. It's not the best. AOL, who I really don't like, has really good email that way too. Yahoo does have the ability to do it, but it's a little complex to set up. I reckon, no. I never, well, first of all, on your iOS device, never delete your mails. You don't need to. Because it doesn't store your mail. It's simply peering into the server. I have 86,000 emails in there, but it doesn't clog up my iPad because it clogs up my computer, but that's fine. They take up very little room, and that's an archive of it. But on my iPad, it only shows my most recent emails until I tap on it, and then it comes up like that. But it doesn't fill your iPad, so just let the new ones shift to the top, and you'll be able to see those. But don't worry about deleting them, because if you delete it on your iPad, just an older message comes in behind, so you're not saving any space. Don't be compelled to do it. And yes, I have I'm probably up to 100,000 emails. So I used to think I was a hoarder. No. I used to think I was a hoarder until I watched one of those shows, and I feel a lot more normal now. So. But no, it won't slow it down a bit. Not a bit. And it's just, the line keeps going down, but you're only concerned about the top ones because those are the recent ones. But you have the ability to go search the old ones. Yeah, and if you use an IMAP service, which Yahoo can do, and I can set that up for you, it syncs. It doesn't sync across your devices. Everything. So let's talk about, you guys, you change an address on one device, it changes them on the other. That's what you want for your mail. This device does not talk to the computer. This device talks to the cloud, and the cloud talks to the computer. There's an intermediary for all these, just like your mail sits on a server somewhere. So what happens is it says, hey, let her know I checked my iPhone, I checked and replied to the email, and then it sends down here, and it puts the little hook by that one saying you've replied on your other version, on your other devices. And that's called IMAP, and that's just something that some of the email services offer. But it's important these days with multiple devices. When we used to have one computer, you pretty much knew, okay, I go into the sent, they're all here, or look, it's in bold, I haven't done anything. So, other questions? Go ahead.
I just tried to do the select on my iPhone to get to the iPad. It's an old photo. It just wasn't. And I'm connected to the iCloud of both my iPhone and my iPad.
What, trying to put something in?
Just an old photo, and can I put that into my iPad through the information you just gave us?
You shared it. You shared. No, so you took it with your iPhone.
I took it with my iPad.
And you go to the photo stream on your iPad. You don't share it from your iPad phone.
Oh,
You go to photo stream here, and it shows up in photo stream, and in photo stream you say, well, save it to my iPad camera roll.
Okay. So, just one more time. So
Hang on here. Let me give an example of this. This sits up in my photo stream. This is just something that's up there. If I want this on my iPad, I have to go up here and say, oh, it's on photo stream. Save a copy of this down to my iPad. It came up from my iPhone. It's still in my iPhone, but it's up here, and if I want a copy, I go into my photo stream from my iPad. Here's my photo stream. I take the picture out, and I save a copy on my iPad camera roll. You've already taken it there. You don't do anything on your iPhone. It's all on your iPad. Your iPhone put it on the photo stream automatically every photo you take. Set your phone down. Set your phone down. Go over to Photos on your iPad. And on my iPad, I go to Photos. And I go to my photo stream, right? You don't have photo stream? Don't have things that says albums at the bottom? Click on albums. You may not have photo stream on.
It's staying on share. I've got 3 choices. I've got
You may not have photo
You
stream
have
on.
the same thing on
I've got brand new iPad. See that brand new iPad? It is on.
You sure?
Is that under settings?
No, it's under right side.
I don't know.
So, okay, great example. She has her app is kind of stuck. Have we ever had that? Or when you fire up an app, it goes away, fire it up, goes away, fire it up, goes away. That's an app that's misbehaving. So let me show you what to do in that regard. This is really important. Everyone will encounter this at some point. Everyone will encounter an app that won't work or is misbehaving, and in this case, it's even an Apple app, which is very rare. So, the first thing I do is hit my home button to go to the home screen. Everybody do this on your iPhone or your iPad. Make sure you're on your home screen by hitting the round home button, okay? Now, double tap the home button. Tap, tap. And you should get a tray down on the bottom. Double tap, you didn't do it fast enough. Okay? Everybody got it? Double tap the home button. Fast, fast. Okay?
That's the name of that.
All right, good. So you should have this little tray in the bottom. First of all, double tap your home button. Okay? You don't have any maps. So let's open Okay, yep. So, first off, when you double tap, you have your most recent apps in order of the most recently used. As I swipe back and forth, I can see them. So this is a really good way to go back and forth to apps. This is called App Switcher. So by double tapping the home button, it brings this tray up. But in your case, Photos is misbehaving. And is Photos the first one to the right?
Yes, it is.
Now, if I want to quit Photos, I simply touch it and swipe up, watch the screen. Boom, Safari went away. Now, if you had an app that was crashing, like a solitaire game that comes up and boom, can't do anything. Double tap, it'll show up because it was the last one that ran. Swipe it, that's just like quitting the app. And you can go back and let's see, did you get rid of it? Go back and see if it works. Now go back and see if it works. You don't have to quit all these other apps. Everybody says you do. But look at this. How many do I have running? I keep on going. They're not running. They're in the background. They don't do anything. It's only if they're misbehaving do you have to do this. You'll hear stories about, oh, you have to quit all these apps because you have better battery life and all this. Hey, proof's in the pudding here. How many do I have running?
That happened again, so it's fine. I was able to get off the share and into album.
Because hers was stuck. It wouldn't respond to any of the buttons we pushed.
Now the choices.
So we forced to quit it. And now we have
I've
your
got
choices.
2 choices. I've got camera roll and my limited stream. And they're blank at the moment.
Yeah, let's look here.
And so you want to list the battery.
Who told you that? Okay, so nobody's going to tell who told. It's the rare case that it would be like that, and it's usually a certain app, and by persuading people to do it. Here's what's going to happen in the new operating system. The really cool thing is, we call it battery shaming. It's going to show you what apps are using a lot of your battery, not just right then, but have used over time. Facebook sucks the life out of your battery. Facebook doesn't care about you, they just want your information. So battery shaming will be part of it, and you'll be able to see whether this really is true or not. And for the most part, it's not, unless an app is misbehaving. I have, like, my Fidelity investment account. It times out after 15 minutes. Most GPS apps will time out after 15 minutes. So
when you turn your phone off,
you never turn your phone off or your iPad off. Never turn them off. They go to sleep. There's no reason to turn them off. They go to sleep. And when they go to sleep, it's fully suspended, and they use very little energy. In fact, an iPad uses so little energy, if it's in sleep mode, it will sit for 30 days without a charge.
Wow.
10 hours of use, 30 days of non-use. But there's no need to actually turn it off. You put the screen dark, and that's asleep. Most of our cases do that. They shut it, only occasionally do you need to restart it. Okay, yeah.
Is this heavy finger?
Yes. So she brought up a good point. She inadvertently takes bursts when she's using the best camera in the world, which if she doesn't have an iPhone and her iPad's with her, that's also the best camera in the world. But on the iPhone, if you hold the button down, it's going to take a lot of pictures. It's rapid fire. You don't hear it, you don't know it. And then what you can do is you can choose through them. But it's a really good situation where you're not sure if somebody's going to smile or not smile. You can hold it down and continue to take full resolution photos. It's not a movie, it's photos. And then you can pick which one it is. iOS 8 will have a time lapse ability in it too. You could set a phone down and set it to do it after a certain amount of time. Just take a picture, like that. But yeah, the burst ones, and then sometimes when you delete it, it says you want to delete the burst. Yeah, just tap it once. Just tap it once.
And that would take one of those pictures?
Well, no, it'll only take one picture. If it's holding it down creates burst, but if you just tap it, it'll only take one picture, which is kind of the normal way.
Right, if you have this burst, it's like a picture that...
Yeah, I don't ever take burst on purpose, but sometimes it does. I think you just tap the picture and then you have the option of deleting it. I have to play with that, and I think it's going to change slightly in the new OS, so I didn't really spend any time with that. But yeah, but burst, I think it lets you delete a whole burst if you want to. And but that brings up a good point. So now let's try bring my phone up on the screen again. And I'm in my lock screen. Let's see if it comes up here. There it is. Okay, so my phone went dark. When I press the home button, look at down here. I'm locked, right? My phone's locked. But I want somebody to be able to take a picture, or a cat's running through and you want to catch it really quick. I just go up here and slide the camera up. And I have my camera all of a sudden. But that person that you're letting take your picture can't get in and see any of your other pictures because your phone's still locked. The only pictures they can view are pictures that were taken while it's active. So it's a quick way to do it because you don't have to unlock your phone, go to the camera. You simply pull up on the camera. Okay? Works on your iPad. I'm not sure it works on the iPad. Let's see your phone. Yeah. Slide the camera. Slide the camera. How many times you're going to lose a great photo because you spent time going in and finding something, okay? All right, we've got time for probably 2 more questions. Let's ask any more questions. Go ahead. Okay, hey, you know, you guys, it's really hard to hear people. Shh. I'm sorry, but it really is. I couldn't hear her.
So, maybe my password's different on my iCloud here than here.
It wouldn't be your password, it's your iCloud ID. I'm going to check on that for you.
Oh,
So I'll check with that. That's kind of a special case. I think everybody else worked on that, so we'll see. And it's not uncommon. That's, yeah. Again, iCloud, it's really important. And part of the thing that's going to happen tomorrow, we think also, is, well, I don't know, has anybody, have you been into the Apple Store? Do you know you can walk out the front door without ever touching an employee and walking out with merchandise? So, there's an Apple Store app, and I turn it on, and I go to the Apple Store. It won't let me do a computer, but it'll let me do up to $400 things. I can go over to a time capsule router, and in the app, I can scan the code with my camera. It'll come up. They've already got my credit card because of iTunes and everything else, and I say buy. And then it says, okay, you've purchased it. And then I start walking to the front door, and you know what? I stole a piece of gum once in my life, and I still hate it. So I'm always paranoid about this stuff. I'm happy when it's used when I was a kid, 2 cents or whatever it was. And I'm walking to the front door, and I still have to say to the concierge, I just feel this way. I can't just walk out. Wow, this app was really neat, and I was able to check out with it. And you can check out like that, and that's the future of retail. And Apple's really doing it, but also they're able to know somehow, because there was a guy, a young college student, who got something and he brought up the app and walked to the front door and he said, "Oh, excuse me, sir, have you purchased that?" He says, "Well, yeah, I put it in the app," but he never did check it out. Kind of smart in his thing, that you can get away with it, but you can get away with it. I don't know if anything happened, but it's kind of sly. But we're going to find that tomorrow we anticipate that if you go to Nordstrom, Walgreens, CVS, you'll have your credit card stored very securely in here in a special part of this phone that nobody can get to. You can walk up to the counter with your phone instead of using your credit card, and it'll bill whatever card you want, the MasterCard, the American Express, etc., and off you go. So that's part of the reason why Apple's very picky about you guys having very secure passwords. This, in Europe, they're already doing it a lot. How hard would it, Home Depot just had a huge credit card compromise. Yeah. Not going to happen if you do it this way. And all the Apple devices are going to start to have fingerprint readers, which even makes it more secure. And the thing we're also getting, you'll be getting these credit cards in the future that are called chip and pin. It'll have a chip in it that generates a unique number every time it gets into a register. You'll have a pin you use. It only ties it with that one unique number. There's no way to ever, they only know how to tie the pin back to it. So what'll happen is all this hacking that goes on. And the reason Home Depot and Target and everything got hit recently is because the rest of the world uses chip and pin. So since we're the only ones with this archaic system, all the hackers are all coming here to get that information. So it's the bank's fault. We didn't give them enough money with TARP, I guess, but they kind of, then they're the ones that, quote, take the losses. No, you know what? They bounce it back to the retailers. The retailer's the one that takes the loss. So it'll have a little thing called an NFC, we think, near field communication on it, and it'll be able to do that. So your credit card stuff will be securely stored in here. But you know what? I already do that, and it's really nice because when I'm filling out, like if I'm at somewhere and I want to put my credit card in, I don't want Pizza Hut to have my credit card number. I let my computer fill it in from this special little spot in there that makes me put in the CVV code, and it goes to there. It's stored securely in my computer or in my iPhone and my iPad. So the technology is really going to help take and make us more secure. And you're still 100 times safer using your credit card online than you are in the restaurant. Okay? So look for that. We think that's it. they've also invited some fashion people to this event tomorrow. So if you go to apple.com tomorrow morning at 10, in 21 hours and 19 minutes, apple.com/live, you'll see the live keynote. Or if you're out golfing and you want to see it in the afternoon, go to apple.com's website. Sometimes a few hours after that, they'll have a copy of it that you can watch. It's going to be at least 2 hours. But it's also a way to learn about all the new stuff. And there's tons of stuff they won't show you because they just don't have the time. So it's like Christmas for me tomorrow. I won't sleep tonight. I'll be reading all the blogs and everything else. And then tomorrow is a scheduled office day for me. I don't take calls. I probably won't even respond to any emails tomorrow because just for you guys, I have to go research all the stuff as it happens too. While it's going on, the research is going on and the Mac universe responds to it and everybody thinks, because everything has pluses and minuses, and that's all weighed along in there. So it's going to be a very big day, and I venture to say it'll probably be one of the biggest days since the iPad was introduced. And that was a seminal day. So thank you for having me. Oh, question?
If you were going to buy an iPad, would you wait till October for mini iPads, or would you just purchase?
No, I'd like you to go buy one now because then the new ones will come out the next day. That's how it usually happens, right?
That's what happened on my phone.
So that's a fantastic question. First off, never buy technology until you need it or really want it. And I can rationalize need easier than you guys can because it's my business, right? But I would wait because the other thing is the current ones that are all of a sudden going to be really bad, right? They're not very good because they're a year old or 2 years old. They'll drop in price. They've already dropped the iPad mini. The regular iPad mini is down to $199, which is incredible. And it's a fantastic machine. If you have up-close vision, if you have good up-close vision, the iPad mini is fine. The full-size iPad will drop dramatically. But we think that the iPad Air, the full-size iPad Air, will probably only have a bit of a refresh. It'll probably come with a fingerprint reader because that's all the whole new thing. You guys, how many here have been locked into password hell many times? Okay, we've all been there. The fingerprint reader is the answer. And that's going to be implemented in all iOS devices and hopefully all computers going forward with the Mac. They bought a fingerprint company 18 months ago, and they've had it on the iPhone 5S, and I love it. I just tap it and it opens. So, but I'll be able to use it like at Amazon. I can, instead of Amazon storing my password and everything else, Amazon doesn't have access to my password keychain in my iOS device or my Mac, but when I press the thumbprint, it says, watch security in there and believing it's secure, it says, go ahead and give Amazon their password but nobody else's. And it fills it in and off I go to Amazon. And this becomes very, very important when we talk about how we store our credit cards. Okay? So secure passwords are important. Don't use the same password everywhere. And passwords are a whole other thing. But it's, to answer your question, I'd wait. We're going to either find out about it tomorrow or we're going to find out about a month from now on the iPads. You have an iPhone. The iPhone, it works great. If you were going to take a trip between now and then, I would say yeah, because you want to take it on a trip. I used to take this with me everywhere. I hardly ever bring it out of my bag or take it with me anymore at all now. I take my iPad with me everywhere. My decision used to be, well, do I want to have it in my car and worry about it getting ripped off, and do I want to carry this bag around all the time? And now I just simply go in with my iPad, and as a guy, I don't have to carry a Merce around. I can put it in my pocket. And under my arm, it's always with me. There's less chance of it getting stolen. Less, I don't have to leave it in the car, etc. So,
which one is that?
this is the Mini. And what I encourage you always to do is to try other people's out or go to the store. My up-close vision is good. My long-distance vision isn't very good at all. So for me, I look below my glasses with my own cheap little bifocals here, and I can read just fine up close like this. So that's the important thing, is how do you read up close? The bigger iPad is the exact same amount of stuff on the screen, it's just a bigger version of it.
Can you get a keypad with the Mini?
Yes, you can. Should you? No.
No.
Well, Okay, oh, I forgot to mention, you know, tomorrow we're probably going to get introduced to what's called an iWatch. And so now when I'm at dinner with Mom, I won't have to pull my iPhone out to look to see if I got a message. I just, oh, okay, that message I don't have to care about. It'll show up on there. But let me show you. A keyboard, if you do a lot of typing and stuff, you may want. But if I'm going to send a new email, why in the world would I need a keypad, comma, if I can just speak, comma, and remember, comma, I may be speaking to my wrist like the Secret Service agent, comma, and it will go ahead and send this email for me, period. No need for a keyboard, comma. I can speak much faster than I can type, comma, and more accurately, period. Welcome to the next class when you guys come. No. You always got to leave them wanting, right? If you have Siri, if you have an iPhone 4S or newer, you have an iPad mini or an iPad 3 or newer, you have a microphone on your keyboard. You must speak your punctuation note. Okay? This isn't Siri. Let's do this again. I'm going to tap the microphone. This is not Siri. This is, quote, speech-to-text dictation, close quote, comma. It simply types exactly what you say, period. It will never misspell a word, comma, but it may not get the context correct, period. Don't forget, it may mess up two, or two. Okay? But that's not Siri. That's simple speech to text. Do you understand what's going on here? I'm dictating up to 30 seconds, and then I can keep adding to it. It takes that recording of my voice. Let's see, it's this way. It sends it to Macon, North Carolina's Apple supercomputer. And in that amount of time, it puts voice through the computer and consults a dictionary to not misspell anything and brings it back and types the text right here that quickly. Let's watch how quick that is. Wow, exclamation mark. This is quick, period. And then I hit the done button. It's done. Now, here's what Siri is, though. Siri is, send Pete Losey an email. Oh, it's going to ask which one. Hang on.
Which email?
Hang on. Send Sean Bogwell an email.
Which email address for Sean Bogwell?
Work.
What's the subject of your email?
Just testing Siri.
Okay, what would you like the email to say?
Hi, Sean, comma, I'm just testing Siri for my class, comma. If you get this, I accidentally hit send, period.
Here's your email message to Sean Bogwell. Ready to send it?
No, cancel.
Okay, I won't send this.
Now, if I did that with the Bluetooth in my car, which I do all the time, it would, because it knows I shouldn't be looking at the screen when I'm driving. If I'm using a headset, or I have the phone up to my ear, or we'll see with the iWatch what happens, but in my car, it would have read back to me when it typed for me, and would ask me if that's correct. That's Siri. It's artificial intelligence. I'm going to leave you with a couple good things on Siri. Let's see if...
Sorry, Ken, I didn't get that.
I'm drunk.
Don't expect me to get you home.
On my iPhone, a little thing comes up and says, call me a taxi. And it's a GPS locally based taxi service, and in the future it's not going to be a taxi service. It'll actually tie in with the Ubers and all those, and it will find and call a local taxi that's closest to me. So, will I need a jacket tonight?
The low temperature will be 54 degrees Fahrenheit tonight.
54 degrees is the low temperature. Convert 54 degrees Fahrenheit to Celsius.
Checking my sources.
Actually, on the iPhone, it would be
54 degrees Fahrenheit, conference to about 12.2 degrees Celsius.
What's the current temperature in Paris, France?
It's currently 72 degrees Fahrenheit in Paris, France.
Convert 360 US dollars to euros.
Let me check on that.
Now does an iWatch make more sense?
360 US dollars converts to about 278.93 euros.
Who won the San Francisco 49ers game?
San Francisco beat Dallas by a score of 28-17 yesterday.
Will you marry me?
That's sweet. Is there anything else I can help you with?
Who makes the best phone?
Wait, there are other phones?
What is the meaning of life?
I don't believe there is a consensus on that question.
Sometimes she'll answer chocolate. Sometimes 43. And in the new version of the operating system, I won't have to press the button to bring her up. I will say, "Hey Siri," and she'll come up. Actually, right now, it's as long as it's plugged into power somewhat, because like in my car, I have it plugged into power. I'll be able to say, "Hey Siri," without touching anything, and she'll come up. So Siri is the future, eyes free. But back to your real question, yes, you can get a Bluetooth keyboard. They make cases that are keyboard cases. You can see a lot of people have them around here. They're very much for the iPad. I prefer, here's what happened. When I first got my very first iPad was the iPad 2. And I sat there and I'm in analysis paralysis, figuring out what keyboard do I want for my iPad 2, and I'm waiting and this one might be better, and I can't see it, I don't know, and I got using it, and I go, well, I really don't need a keyboard very often. And then when I got my iPad mini, it had Siri and dictation, and now I know I don't need a keyboard. The keyboards bulk it up a little bit, not a big deal, but they are nice if you are typing a lot and you're used to it. They're very functional. Costco has some great keyboards for the full-size one. They might even have some mini ones. Logitech and Zag make some very nice ones. They have their own battery, and they're connected wirelessly to the iPad. You can use them or not use them. You don't have to always do the keyboard, but the keyboard comes up. If you have a keyboard, when you tap the screen to do something, it won't come up. It'll be on the keyboard. When your keyboard's off, your regular screen will come up. Because if you think about it, the majority of what you're doing on the iPad is all touch anyway. So there's a bit of a confliction between going to the keyboard and touching the screen, touching back and forth. And when you can do anything you want, like I can say, launch settings. There's my settings.
But when I do Siri, she never understands what I'm saying, and garbage comes up.
Is she a female voice or a male voice on yours?
A female.
Change it to the male voice. Guys are better listeners. Because she's my girlfriend. That's why I've got the female voice. Siri's getting better. And you know what? When we all learned to type, we had to invest some time in learning to type. You have to invest some time learning Siri. Siri's getting tremendously better. But because Siri is a little bit impatient many times, if you use the microphone and use dictation, you have all the time you want, up to 30 seconds to speak. So play with it that way and get used to it. But again, you have to invest the time in Siri because it will manifest it over time. And it is so useful. I can go in and I can say, let's see, I know I have a 2 o'clock appointment. Schedule test today at 2 o'clock.
Okay, I can create the meeting. Note that we're already having an event about tennis home and keynote tutoring at 2 p.m. Shall I schedule it anyway?
No, cancel.
All right, Ken, I'll leave it off your calendar.
Now, who here has put events in their calendar manually? It's a pain in the butt, isn't it?
Yes.
You have to learn how to do it. You have to think of, here's what you have to think of with Siri. Siri is your assistant, your digital assistant. So I wouldn't say, Test 2. To somebody out in an outer office, I would say schedule test at 2. Well, schedule invokes calendar. I could say, when I leave here, remind me to call so-and-so. When I get 300 feet away, the GPS says, hey, you're not where you were, pops up and says, call so-and-so. But I didn't learn how to put that in. It's just a matter of doing it, and the key is, there's a lot of websites for it, and you can always say, what can I say? And then it shows you kind of how to do it. FaceTime, launch an app, maps, give me directions. I'll do Sacramento International Airport here in a second. Movies. I can book, I have Open Table on here. I book reservations at Rudy's Hideaway by saying, give me a table tonight at 6:30 for 4 at Rudy's Hideaway. And it goes through, it finds it and brings it back up and it says, does that look good? And then I have to tap the screen and say yes. Movies, same thing. So what can I say? But you remember, there's an action involved. Call so-and-so. I can say call a number rather than just call somebody in my address book, and it will go out and do the number. I can say call 916-222-1749.
Call 91622.
Yeah, I was hitting my volume control when I did it, is what happened. But you know, you see it, try it, it'll do it. There's so many things it will do, and it's going to get better. But I can say, give me directions to Sacramento International Airport.
Getting directions to Sacramento International Airport.
And now it'll give me voice-guided turn-by-turn directions on the way there. Obviously, the iPhone is better for this because the iPad doesn't work unless you have cellular once you start going. But I can say, see, now it's doing it on the screen here because the headset's plugged in. Find In-N-Out Burger on my route. It'll find things on your route for you.
I found a few restaurants along your route named In-N-Out Burger a little ways from you.
All right, so invest a little time in Siri. It'll manifest itself. Siri is getting better all the time. iOS 7 had a better version of Siri than iOS 6. You can change it to a male voice if you want. But it's amazing what it can do. And it will do more and more in the future. And it is the future of typing, the future of interface. And if you think about it again, and I was saying a lot of that being over here. I don't have to be right next to it. They all have ambient noise sensors, so what happens is it has every iOS device has 2 microphones. One that you speak into, and one that is sensing the noise out around here, and it says, okay, if I hear this background chatter on both microphones, that's ambient noise. I'm going to block that out, and if on one microphone it hears me, that's what it knows to listen to. I can use Siri in a very crowded environment with 100% success. And with your iPhone, I don't always want to do it in a speaker. I can say, I can bring this up to my ear. And it's not doing it right now, because I think it's a little bit dirty. I got a new cover on here, I'm going to fix it. But it would come up here, get activated, and I can say, hey, when's my next appointment? And it will give me my next appointment. So I can do that in the middle of everything. It's 7:21. I thought it was only till 2. I better check. My billing cycle is ending on my phone. I always reset my data every month so I know how much I use. All right, so that's Siri. You can use it again. Up here, if I send an email with my phone up here, it's going to read an email back to me. It senses when it's next to your. Who has a white iPhone? Can I borrow your white iPhone for a second? Thank you very much. If you look on a white iPhone, you'll see next to, so the very top, the camera is just to the right of the little, this is the speaker up here. By the way, on your iPhone, the microphone is down here on the left. The speaker's on the right, the microphone's on the left, and you talk to it. That's what you're talking to. But on the top, by the headphone jack, there's a little microphone, and on the iPhone 5, it's on the back. But if you look at your iPhone here, right above this speaker, you see this little black slot? That's a proximity sensor. And what that does is it senses, ever notice when you're on a call, the screen goes blank when you bring it up here? Have you ever noticed that? So you can tell when the movies are making a real call or not, because otherwise the screen stays on. But it senses when it gets next to your ear. If you're on a call, you have to be on a call. And on the call, it will black out the screen for 2 reasons. So you cheat won't hit the mute or the hang up button. Disables all the buttons, turns the light off for better battery life. That has been in there since January 9th, 2007. But with Siri, if I activate it, I can make it turn up here. It senses it's next to my ear.